Are you thinking about making a podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one, and if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. You can create your own content all in one place for free with zero hangups and even earn money as soon as you get started. Spotify lets you record and edit episodes from your phone or computer so you can go mobile, just like I enjoy to do. My favorite thing about it is that you can create video episodes if you wish and upload them to wherever podcasts are heard. You can even set up subscriptions, or if you're like me, listener support options for listeners to help you grow. I 10 out of 10 recommend the Spotify for Podcasters app. Or, why don't you just step over to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your own podcast. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Author Doing Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eddie, and today I'm joined with my brother from fitness. I'm so excited to have this time to speak with you, Jose. So thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. So where did it all start for you? Let's take it back to your childhood. What was it like growing up for you? Where were you born? Everything.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Jose Saavedra, and I was born in Morelia, Michoacan, which is in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small town. Well, back in the day, it was a small town. Now it's a pretty big city. Well, it's bigger than some of the cities on there.
Mm-hmm.
But how I was growing up, it was really tough. It's not like here. I try to teach my kids to actually see how really things are, because obviously here in America is way different than,
Yes,
than
absolutely.
down there. We had a lot of needs, and it was really tough. But you know what? I decided to come to this country when I was 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and to make a little bit of a life for myself and my parents.
I love that, man.
Yeah, so
I love that.
that was one of the goals. And I mean, one thing that I do remember and I do love is that when I was down there, I felt like I was free, like I was able to do whatever I wanted. Because it's just you're in a small town where pretty much everybody does whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and now you come to this country where you pretty much have to work for every single thing you do. Obey all the rules, laws, and all that. And I mean, while I was a kid, I didn't really understood all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I decided to come here to give my family a better life.
And that's a huge thing, man.
Yeah.
That's really huge. I remember one of my best friends from middle school. He came here when he was 2 years old. His family immigrated here, and he would talk and explain to me, because he traveled back and forth to see the rest of his family. He would explain the cultural differences, the different needs. Like you spoke about a lot of needs. He didn't grow up with running water even,
Right.
and so for him, he appreciates everything so much more.
Well, no, and that's the reason why a lot of people, they actually do come to this country. They know how hard the life is done there, and they really do appreciate a lot of the things here. I remember my mom had to go and get water from far away. She had to carry it over like 2 buckets of water, at times, and to wash clothes. Sometimes you had to go and get your own water from different places to actually do that. But yeah, it's amazing.
She must be pretty strong.
Yeah, she is.
Because I know I'm not that strong. I'll get burnt right out, man.
She is really, really strong. But obviously, that's one of those things that you remember. You're like, it's funny though, because now that I'm here, I've been here for 22 years, right? Now that I'm here and I just been living the life here and all that, you kind of get used to it, so you forget about like the little things, right? And when you forget about the little things, I remember one day I came home and I had like my bed messy and stuff like that. And I was upset. I was like, what the heck, you guys need to be cleaning up or whatever, help or whatever, right? And I was kind of like, what am I doing? When I wasn't back in Mexico, we didn't even have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you actually remember that you were complaining about little things that wouldn't even matter. Down there, I mean, a lot of people wishes to even have a place to stay. It's just how bad it is. But a lot of people, they do have really great lives. I have my family, my grandpa, grandma, all of them. If you have education, you can go far too down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I decided to come here, and so now we're here.
I love it, man. I love it. One of the things that stands out about what you just said is the deep appreciation for life. I can relate to that, but not in the same way as you. But when I left for the military,
got it.
I had so much time taken away from me with the people that I loved, like my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
but I loved spending time with her, and it really made me value the time we have now so much more. I think that being deprived of things throughout life makes us stronger as human beings, because especially in today's society with technology and the video game, the switches, all these great things that make life so fun and full of color. Without them, we appreciate the different things that mean so much more to us.
Exactly.
Camaraderie, friendship, family,
definitely.
Different cultures too.
Even now, man. Even now, you don't know. You see like the difference. Like even with my kids, we go sit down on the table and they don't even pay attention to nobody. They're on their phones and just always talking to friends on the phones, and you just there like just telling them to eat. Basically, you don't have a conversation. Like even though back when I was in Mexico, we didn't have that much, but at least we had the what's it called, the unity. Like when you actually really together, you were actually in the table talking to your mom and dad, talking about what happened that day, or what you were doing during the day, or whatever.
Being present.
Yeah, exactly. Now these days it's like everybody's doing their own thing on the phones, and that's it. It's just kind of difficult to keep the kids or anybody off their phones.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
It feels like we got connected
Yeah.
by a small little screen,
Yeah.
and we lost connection with people that are all around us. And that's one of the reasons why I love these conversations, because I can find out so much more about life, about others' experiences, the things that separate us as human beings and make us all really, really special, or really not so special sometimes. because I know my life was pretty boring. So I have to know, man, what was it like showing up in America for the first time? Was it?
Oh man,
I'm sure it was a culture shock, is what I usually hear.
It was really really difficult, because obviously language barrier was a big thing. I was glad that I was actually end up coming to Salinas, California. That was the first city that I stayed in, and being at younger age, it was really tough. We had some difficulties with my family, so I ended up by myself in Salinas, California. The great thing about I'm really thankful for these people that I actually they allow me to stay in their house while I was at the time that I was there, because my dad had to go back and I had to stay by myself, and so it was really tough, because you were in somebody's house that you didn't even know.
I can't imagine being separated from my family like that.
I was 50 years old,
movies. And at 15, and we watch movies where the family gets separated from the kid at the airport, or Home Alone, where you're separated for a couple of days. I couldn't imagine just being
your life like that. You're like, what am I gonna do? And now I started using all my knowledge, because back in Mexico, I started working since I was 8 years old. I used to help my uncle. He's a carpenter, and he's a Finnish carpenter, so he built cabinets and all that stuff, and I used to help him. And so I had a little bit of knowledge of that and stuff. So I started helping the people that I stay in, finishing their kitchen, painting walls, doing some stuff around the house, so that way I can get food and be able to stay there. And as soon as I turned 17, then I started working in the fields, and that was tough.
That's tough work. That is definitely tough work. So you developed an early work ethic in life.
Oh yeah,
because normal people start working, they hit 18, and their parents are like, all right, you either got to get out or pay rent. You got to get a job. That's it's normal for here. But you were thrown into work life.
You have to, There's no other way. But so I started working at picking strawberries and all that stuff, and it was just tough work, because I remember making only $200 a week, and it was from sun up to sun down. From 7 in the morning to like 5 or 6 p.m. all day in the sun. It was crazy. I was like this. Even though I came from Mexico and all that, and even though I had no experience of anything else, so I didn't know what to do, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something more. I knew that I was capable of doing something different, more than what I was doing at the moment.
What did you aspire to be at that age?
Well, I wanted to. I always wanted to do something. My entire life has been like that. I like challenges. I like to put myself goals and accomplish them. Like that's my entire. Since I was a kid, I always been like that. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to do a lot of things, but at the moment I didn't. I mean, I didn't have a family, so
Mhm.
no one wanted to support me to actually be that like, hey, stay here. We'll pay for your education or whatever, and then do something like that. At the time I was worried about working, paying bills, and keep moving. And I had the opportunity to move from Salinas, California to Sacramento to start working on construction. To me, construction at that time was like a huge step up from working in the fields, you know.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, let me give it a try. So I happened to move from there to Sacramento, California, and I started working for this company. Uh, Less than 6 months, I learned pretty much everything that you need to know to build a house.
That's excellent. I'm gonna have to hit you up, man, because I got a lot of things I'm trying to. Last year where I got injured,
Oh,
I
man.
was supposed to have the whole rest of the bottom house redone.
Really done, yeah.
I redid the entire upstairs. I was gonna have overhang over the deck so I could have all the
Nice, yeah.
nice barbecues in the snow. I wanted to barbecue.
Nice.
That was my
Yeah.
goal. And I can't do it because I don't have any of the skills. I don't know how.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I really love, that I always been like active. Like I wanted to work with my hands and do things like that. And I was, well, at the time I wanted to learn what it was the most important thing to know in construction. I don't want to know how to like frame with nail stud or do stuff like that. I wanted to learn the blueprints.
Mm.
I wanted to know how to read them because I saw a guy just standing and just going there and marking. I'm like, I want that job. I don't want to do that. And
Yes.
so I started actually taking the blueprints to my house. And while I was building the house, I would go back and look at the blueprints and see the reason why they put that wall there.
Mm.
And I started going through all of that and started learning the details and all of that too. Before I know, I learned pretty much how to read the blueprints without even having a degree.
So self-education.
Yes.
You know what? Everyone listening, you have to know self-education is the best education.
Exactly.
You know what? A lot of people in America, it's been preached for years.
Yeah.
Go to college, get a job, work a 9 to 5, have kids, and die. There's so much more beauty to life that
Yeah.
we can pursue when we are driven
Yeah.
to challenge ourselves or find something
Yeah,
new.
that's the whole thing. Just challenge yourself to do something different. To what makes you feel better. For yourself, not for anybody else, for yourself.
Mhm.
It's like so at that time I was like, you know what? If I can do this, then I can run my own crew. Then I can start doing something different, right? When I was 18, I started running four crews of just construction crews, and I started building houses here and there, here and there. I remember one day, my dad finally he came when I was already what 18. And my brother also came to the United States, and then they stayed here for a long time. But um, when they came, they were like, "What happened?" I'm like, how you managed to work for this big company doing all these things when I was just 18. Everybody was like, I seen people. I used to work for people that were like 35, 40, 45, and they used to come out to me and ask me questions about stuff they were doing. And these people working doing construction work for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in 6 months and into a little bit, I already knew how to do a lot of that, right? So to me, that was a an accomplishment, something that I wanted to learn because I focus on that so much, and that's one of the things that I always wanted. It's just when I want something, I focus on it and make it happen. However, I can do it. If I make it happen once, I'll make it happen again.
Yes, absolutely, my
Yeah.
brother. And I really admire that because a lot of people don't find it very
Mhm.
simple to just see a goal and accomplish it. They stop and they get in their own way. I would
Yeah.
say they step in front of themselves and say, "Oh, hold on, are you sure? Do we have this? I don't know if we have this figured out. Are you sure this is going to work out? I really don't know if I can do it. No one's ever showed me how."
Yeah.
Instead of saying, "Okay, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Who do I need to talk to learn? What blueprints do I need to borrow to
Yeah.
read?" People don't think like that, especially for the elevator union. For me,
Yeah.
it's very, very simple. You do what you're told, and
Yeah.
you try hard to learn new things every day,
Yeah.
and you'll get a little bit better. You might not be great, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I was been doing that for a long time, and I decided to when I was 19, um, I decided to move to Washington because back at that time when I was working in California in Sacramento, The labor, they were paying so low.
Mhm.
It was getting overpopulated. A lot of Mexican people, a lot of Latinos were working in the construction business, and so it kind of slowed down a little bit. And I remember this big company was called GTX Construction. They say, "Hey, Jose, are you willing to work in Spokane for a big company doing some apartments and hotels?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try." So they transferred me over to Spokane, and when I started working in there, that's when I actually started seeing how much work was in Washington. It
Oh
was
yeah.
developing. I mean, believe me, when I moved to Everett, we still had seen deers. There were coyotes and deers around the neighborhood,
Mhm.
and big construction sites. It was amazing. People were paying top dollar for anybody that had the skill, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm staying
So the construction
here.
industry was
It
booming.
was at that point, at
Do you
that
think
time.
it still is right now?
Right now, it did for a little bit, but now it's slowed down
Okay.
a lot, by a lot. And like I said, when I came in at the right time. It was booming. It was you were just making money like no other. I mean, it was really good. Then a lot of people actually noticed that. Then they start migrating
Mhm.
here, a lot of it, and so then it kind of slowed things down again. But at the time I was like, you know what? I got during the during the time that I was working doing construction, I got so many injuries. So I got a nail bound to my eye, so I can see in this eye really well. I had to get multiple surgeries on the eye. I also have a fused wrist, can move it.
Mm.
It's fused, so it doesn't mobility. Um, Nails in my foot, my leg. I mean, so many things. And I was like, you know what? Am I gonna do this forever?
Oh.
I was only 22, and I'm like, I don't think I can be able to be working. And I mean, at this pace, I'm not gonna make it to 40.
Mhm.
So many injuries, so many things happening, and I was like, uh, I need to start thinking about something different. And that's when I decided to actually go to college.
Mhm.
I save up money, and then I'm like, I need to do something that is going to be a little bit less of physical and not so dangerous,
Oh yes, absolutely.
but
So
I
what did you
also
go to
be able
college?
to make money off of it. So
100%.
yeah,
We have to be able to thrive
yeah,
and not just survive, but
yeah,
thrive.
exactly.
So,
And so I save out some money to go to college, and um, I end up going. A lot of people didn't believe it. I'll tell you this though. One of the biggest thing, and this is something the that I need to explain to a lot of people. When you have a partner that does not believe in you and does not support you, then you need to go, man. You need to get it out and go. That was the hardest thing for me to do because I had 4 kids when my first wife, and and I didn't know what to do. I was kind of stuck, and I told her my idea to go to school. I said, hey, trying to go to college to do something different. She laughed at me. She's like, man, you don't even speak English. How are you going to go to college? I'm like, I'm gonna try. If I don't make it, then at least I try. I'm not gonna stay here.
absolutely.
And and I remember she was like laughing, telling me that I wasn't gonna make it, that I was gonna waste my time and money, and that was not okay, and all of that, right? So I decided to just go with it. I showed up to college, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I told the guys there? I said, what do I need to do so I can enroll? And they're like, you have a GD? I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Like, where do you go to school? I said, going to school in Mexico. And they're like, okay, well, the only option we have is to do a compass test. And if you pass that, that's only one time in your life. They only do it one time. If you fail, then you have to get your GD. You
Mhm.
cannot go enroll the college until you get your GD, and that'll take maybe 2 or 3 years, depending on how slow you learn or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, I can't wait 2 or 3 years wasted. I need to get a degree now. She's like, oh, I was just, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do something. She's like, well, then take the test. If you pass the test, then you can enroll anytime. And I was like, the test was $300 at the time. And I was like, well, so I kind of told my ex-wife at the time, and she kind of said, oh, you waste your money, whatever. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna pass it. Why are you wasting your time? And I was like, okay. At this point, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna tell her anything. I'm just gonna go with it. I went, get paid the fee. They said, well, it had to be this day. They give me some. books to read or whatever. And when the day came up, I was like so nervous. I don't know what to inspect, right? And then they open up this little room, a computer, a pencil, and a little paper. That's it. I was like, she's like, you have until three. Once 3 p.m. hits, the computer will shut down and you're done from 8 to 3. Well, believe me, I was in that little room from 8 to 3. They didn't
Oh
get out. They,
yeah.
they didn't even take a bathroom break.
Oh
I
my.
was like on it, man, on it. And when the time was up, I'm like, okay. I left home. I was kind of a little bit disappointed because I kind of feel like I didn't do that good. I was like, uh, kind of like, what's it called? Like when you don't believe in yourself at the time because you're like,
You're nervous. You're doubting yourself.
yeah, and I was doubting myself. I
Mhm.
was like, I don't. Well, anyway, so I just left, and I'll say about 30 days later, I was coming from work, and when I got home, I saw this envelope in the entrance of the door. Like there's a little table there, and it was open. And I came in, and I was talking to my ex-wife at the time, and she didn't say anything. She didn't mention anything. And I went back and I looked at the envelope. I'm like, Everett Community College, right? And I opened it up, and it's like, "Welcome to Everett Community College. You can have it."
Yes.
I was like, "What?" And then she didn't even say anything.
You
Like,
know what? I hate to say it. It's really unfortunate that she didn't believe in you, because if she did, how more confident would you have been when you took
yeah,
the test? You know.
exactly. Because you were doubting yourself. Because somebody always telling you that you don't know
Hmm.
what you're doing and all that stuff. That's what I'm saying. So you had to just like
Hmm.
cut it and keep going.
You have to. You have to.
And I decided. I mean, I was so excited. Um, I was like, man, that was at the moment you were like, okay, now what am I gonna do? Okay, I enroll. I was able to go to college, but then I got my first class, bro, and I was at that time. I mean, my English is really, my accent is really heavy. Uh, Back in that time, it was even worse.
Well, you speak English really well now.
I've been here for a long time, so I
Okay, I
got a
think
little
you got it
bit.
down there. I love it, man.
So the idea is that when I had my first class, bro, it was so difficult because I didn't. I mean, the teachers they don't. There's not like high school or any other classes that you have where they kind of slow down, talk to you about it. They're just like, "Da-da-da-da." That's it. I'm like, okay, got it. But at the time it was really complicated. It's hard, but like I said, I love challenges, and I was like, I need to get it done. I mean, I remember sleeping until like 3 or 4 in the morning, just going through all these books, all this paperwork. They probably somebody that's native speaker in English, full in English, to put it down in like in 30 minutes. It'll take me 3 hours, 4 hours to do it.
Hmm.
And I didn't have no education whatsoever in the United States. Most of my education was in Mexico, so it was even more complicated, way more difficult. But I managed to do it, and then, after 3 years, I got my associate's degree in computer science.
Excellent.
And a lot of people there's a lot of people who always said, "Why didn't you go for like an architect or something that relates to what you used to do?" I said, "Because I already kind of know all that stuff. I mean, I
A piece
mean,
of paper
yeah,
doesn't mean you're the great. If you have a piece of paper and it certifies you to someone else's standards, those aren't necessarily the standards needed to get the job done
yeah,
or for you.
yeah, exactly." And so I was like, you know what? I wanted to do something totally different,
Hmm.
like 100% different, which was computers. And believe me, at the beginning, I didn't even know how to turn a computer.
Hmm.
It was really difficult. I didn't even know like what to do. I didn't have a email. I didn't have. I mean, I didn't even know how to use it. And that's the reason why I want to do it. I'm like, I'm gonna get a degree in computer science, and I'm gonna learn it. And I learned. I had a couple awards on college. One of the awards that I had is, believe it or not, it was the best usage of vocabulary. And I was like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was because you have to write down an essay about a movie, Disney movie, and you have to use all the new vocabulary that you learn on English 101. And you had to create an essay with all the crazy vocabulary that you don't hear that anywhere.
Mm-mm.
To be honest, I mean, I've been in this country for 22 years and I never heard anybody speaking that way. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so I did it and I was able to I actually got first place.
Excellent.
It was crazy.
Well, I think it's horribly interesting, in all the craziest ways that you had someone who didn't believe in you. You came to this country at age 15 with literally no support because they tried, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately things happen.
Yeah.
You hit the ground sprinting, not running, sprinting. You didn't even care if you were breathing or not. You took off. You learned how to do people's jobs above you. You got out of working in the fields. You gained a technical degree.
Yeah.
I call it the technical degree because it's not a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's for you.
Yeah.
Your personal degree of knowledge.
Yeah.
And you use that to accentuate your skills and blow through whatever obstacles were in your path in order for you to become successful.
Exactly.
And I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest thing that I accomplished at that time. I was like, I wanted, because I always seen people, like I remember working and doing construction work, and I seen all these people going to college. I remember I was one day standing, I was in the ladder, and I just looked back and I saw these people walking to go to college, and I was like, one day I'm gonna go there. One day I'm gonna go to college. I don't know why, when, but it's gonna be one day. It's gonna happen, and it did. So there's a little accomplishments that you've been doing in the entire life. I mean, a lot of people, some people, they do accomplish stuff, but they don't notice it because sometimes they don't really focus on them. But when you focus, you can actually see them and feel good about yourself. Um, it seems weird, but everything that I actually wanted to get or wanted to accomplish, it always happens. It's so weird because sometimes I see it, like sometimes I see myself there. You know what I mean? Like I remember, like I said, when I seen these people in college, I see myself going to college. Like I
Powerful
yeah,
vision.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's as simple as this. Like, um, I remember one day, and this is just something so small, but it's a good thing that you feel good about yourself. It's like I was working for this guy, doing well. Let's go back a little bit. So when I finished the the degree, the computer science degree, at that time it was like 2011. The economy crashed.
Oh yeah.
It was so bad. I mean, the only jobs that I was available to get hired was like to lead a casino, to lead the tech support, little jobs like that. When I wanted to work, it's like Microsoft, all of these big companies, but I couldn't because it was a year waiting list. Boeing had like year and a half waiting list for anybody to go on applicants, the applicants. And I was like, you know what, I can wait that long. I mean, I had now that I had the degree, now I have all this, I had to do something with it, right?
Yes.
So then I started working for this company, roofing company that a friend of mine said, and I was like, I don't want to go to construction again, but you have to do what you have to do, right? I'm like, I'm just gonna do it for a little bit until I get hired by all these companies, right? I put my applications everywhere, and I started working for this company. Well, one day my boss, his name is Mark. I remember he sent me to pick up some materials, and he let me drive his Tundra, brand new Tundra, bro.
Oh yes.
When I walked in, I was like, get in there. I see myself in one of those. I'm like, one day I'm gonna buy a Tundra, like this. I'm gonna buy one. Yes, I just say that to myself, And a few years later, I brought my one brand new.
Yo, man, there's nothing better than that feeling.
That's what I'm saying. Like things like that. Like, every time that I always wanted something, it just gets in my mind. But I will never let it go. I mean, it maybe take a little bit while to get to it, but I always have it back in my mind.
So goal driven or criteria focused, ability to have vision and see what you want and go for it.
Yeah. Until I mean, I don't focus specifically on that, but that comes with that eventually.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely admire that about you, man. That is it's a gift that separates people who are usually successful from people that aren't. There's two types of successful people that I see: people who are willing to sacrifice everything for what they want, or people who are patient and can work at it until they get it, and have everything else they want.
Definitely, yeah. And so that to me, it's just always been like that. And like I said, now it's like when I was working at this company, the roofing company. That's where I actually fall. And so going back to what I wanted to do for fitness, I actually my entire life I've been fit, right?
Mhm.
And I never been overweight or anything like that. But um, when I was 21, 20, no, 22, 23, that's when I decided to work out and actually do something so I want to do bodybuilding for so many years, but I didn't know how to even get close to it because I was like, whatever, just working out, that's it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talked to few people, but never talked to anybody that was professional. And they have given me all this misleads, this misinformation.
Misinformation. Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of false
oh
prophets,
man,
especially in this area, man.
yeah,
There's a lot of ones. They'll charge you. They'll charge you through the roof.
yeah,
They'll charge you so much, and then they will not deliver
yeah,
on
and
what they, and it hurts
yeah,
because
exactly.
these are your
You waste a
dreams.
lot. Yeah, you waste a lot of time and money, and it's just kind of hard. And I hate when people play with your dreams.
Mhm.
That's the worst thing you can do, especially when you think that they're actually legit.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
trust
Well,
them.
if we talked about certifications, and
Yeah,
certain certifications don't mean don't mean you're good.
yeah.
Oh no.
Exactly. And so that's the idea, right? So I was like, I always been fit and I wanted to do that. But then I started working this company, roofing company, and I remember one day I had my friend. I was working. It was on top of the ladder, and he had this chemical on my hands that was treating some pieces of wood, and this guy let go of the ladder for a little bit. When he let go of the ladder, actually lost balance, and I fell back, but I didn't want to drop. I could have just jumped so I can land it better, right? But if I would have jumped, I would have thrown this chemical. It could have come. It could end up in his eyes or my eyes and would have burned. Because it's just it has acid in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold it up like that, and I was falling back. I ended up cracking my knees, the patella, and everything. So I had this terrible accident that happened like over the blink of an eye. It's crazy. Um, I took me about 7 years to recover from the injury to my knees,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctors told me that I was never gonna be able to work out again. I'm never gonna be able to walk like normal. It's like you have to take it easy, not jumping, not soccer, none of that, right? I was like, you told me everything. I mean, might as well I'll just die.
Well, yes, 100%.
Because it's
That's
like,
alive but not living. For someone
yeah,
who enjoys fitness, you can't sit here and tell, as a doctor, you can't look in your little textbook of doctorness and
exactly,
say, "Oh, well, I wouldn't do anything ever you want to do ever again." You're not dying.
yeah,
You have an injury. You can heal. You can recover. There are great sports therapists out there,
yeah,
and doctors don't a lot of times even understand sports therapy
yeah,
or sports medicine. I love sports therapists. They can fix you like this.
yeah.
Yeah, I could do it again.
So
I'm doing it.
exactly. No, and definitely, like, it's crazy because they told me all these things, right, about that I couldn't do none of that. And to me, at that point, I got so depressed. I started eating a lot because I did powerful lifting for Gold's Gym when they used to have it on Macotillo.
Mhm.
There used to be a Gold's Gym there. They used to do powerful lifting competitions, and I did one of them there because I was at that time I was eating a lot and all that. But you know how it goes, right? So you keep eating a lot, but when you injure, you can work on no more. Your appetite continues. You keep eating, and I'm like, but I wasn't eating clean. I was just eating whatever came in, and so then I gained a lot of weight.
Mhm.
So what happened that time? I was like, you know what? Um, I'm just gonna focus on doing something and just forget about what I wanted to do. About all these fitness goals and journey. I mean, I think that's gonna be something maybe later in the day, or see if I feel better eventually. Um, that's when I started because everybody was like calling me and telling me that there was no jobs available. It was kind of hard finding a job for the degree because there was so many companies that not even now these days Microsoft doesn't even hire directly. They hire through subcontractors. Most everybody because they don't want to pay all the benefits and all of that to a lot
Mm-mm.
of people.
No,
So
they
that's
do
what
not.
they got smart and they're like, you know what? Yeah, you can work for Microsoft, but you're gonna work under another contractor, so you don't get all the full benefits.
Oh yeah, they
and
play
I
their
was,
games.
yeah, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to do something else, right? And that's when I decided to start my own company, doing home renovations, kitchens and bath, and all of that. And when I decided to start, that I remember a lot of people telling me, so you're gonna you're gonna open your own business. You know you have to do this, do that. I'm like, yeah, I kind of have an idea what needs to be done. But at that time, I already had education. I already had my degree. I already knew paperwork. I knew a computer, and I knew how to do websites. I had to do all of that, marketing myself and all that. I mean, I was good at that. I started doing my own logos, my own estimates, everything myself. And I was like, I remember talking to one of my friends. He's like, you need to hire uh, an sales guy, somebody that speaks fully English, and somebody that can sell for you because he's like, this is a Latino guy. Because this is what it is, though, to be honest. A lot of Latinos, and instead of helping you out, they want you down. If somebody's up here, they don't want you to go above them.
Because you're competition.
Yeah, it's crazy though. It's crazy because I never been like that, and I promised myself that I will never be like that. And everybody that comes to work with me, I didn't even call employees. We work for the same company.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people told me, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "I work for a company." Really? Yeah. No, that doesn't mean because I own the company, I'm above everybody. We're all the same. We work for somebody. These guys work for me. I work for the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I remember this guy was telling me he's like, if you don't hire somebody that speaks full English, then it's gonna be hard for you to get jobs and stuff like that. And I told him, I said straight up, I said, bro, if I cannot close a contract by myself, then I wouldn't even do business. I mean, I wouldn't even start this company. Why? Why would I have to depend on third parties to run a business? That's just not.
Here, come and speak to somebody and try to get their money.
Exactly.
No.
It's like, no, you have to be passionate about what you do because that's the main goal when I started in this company. I love not I don't really I mean I enjoy what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I love transforming people's homes, making their kitchen come through, bathroom come through. I mean all of these things to me that's the biggest reward than the money. I have a lot of people that talks great about me, and I had a lot of friends throughout the entire years that I had. I work for a company. I work for guys that for some of the customers are like really, I mean, people that I wouldn't even probably meet if I wasn't in this business. I'm working for science, the guys that develop cancer cures a little bit here and there. There's a guy that work for he's a space engineer in there in Seattle. Amazing
Wow.
people, like you have no idea, and how much people you get to meet on this line of work, and I really enjoy doing what I do. And so, one of the things that I really do and I'm really good at is that since I have a lot of background, since I was building houses and construction, all of that, and now
Since you
remodels.
were 15.
Whoa, so
Go
it's
way
like,
back.
so it's easier for me to explain to them everything without even seeing. So the way I explain stuff to them, they're like, "Wow, you have a lot of knowledge,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time." And then when it comes to paperwork, then I do all my paperwork, and they're like, how do you learn all of these things? Well, first of all, I work in construction for all this time, and I got a degree in computer science, which is give me the skill to be able to be productive in the computer and do all the paperwork for myself. So it kind of combined help each other. You know what I mean? So it kind of
Yeah.
helped with me because now, at that time, one of the things that put me on top of the lead when I started the company is that I was giving free uh, home designs. I was charging no $1 for me to come and design kitchens and bathrooms, and they really loved that. I mean, they used to pay designers for like $800, $1,000 for a design, and I was giving them away for free because I knew how to run the software, I knew how to do all of that stuff, and it was simple for me. And that's the thing that actually helped me a lot to keep my business going. And now we have 10 years of doing that, and it's still rolling.
It's going
Not even
good.
not even in the pandemic when we had the COVID happen. We never stopped one. I haven't in 10 years. I have never sent one of my guys home.
I think that shows that obviously you're an avid, a strong leader. Is what I would say, and you're really devoted to your people.
Yeah, and I want to make sure like if I when people come in to work for me, I teach them all what they need to know. Some people already have skills; they bring skills to us and all of that. But I always tell them, I said, the day you leave this company is because you're going to be working for your own company.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
And it's, so far it's been like that. So far,
Excellent.
every guy they had left, they started their own thing.
Hmm.
And I guide them, teach them, show them how to do it. They come to my office, and we talk about all different ideas, different things that they can do. The time that they get established, I give them work, as much work as I trust them. They actually developed and grew up with my company, so I knew how they work. So, and it's been like that, and I was been like that. A lot of people told me, why, if these guys are going to be your competition eventually, what would you do? I'm like, there's always work for everybody.
There's always
It
work.
doesn't matter what you do. I mean, I can teach them, but I'm not going to be doing that forever. I mean, I hope you get established and do stuff, and then you're good to say. I mean, it's up to you to keep it up or not. A lot of people think just because they know how to do the work, they can just start a business, and there's a lot to it. There's a
There is.
lot to it. It's
There
not
definitely
just knowing
is.
how to do work. You also have to know how to manage people. Because I have a bunch of people that came back. They started their own business. They run it, but they didn't. They fell through. They came back and they're like, now I understand everything. He's like, it's not just about getting the jobs and getting paid. There's a lot to it. Yeah, and one of the things that you have to know is obviously you need to know how to talk to the customers. You need to know how to lead your guys. If you're not a good teacher or good leader, you can have 20 guys, but they won't do anything. They'll be just sitting there.
Oh yeah.
You need to know how to organize everybody. Start learning their skills. I mean, I can certainly see it. Like before, right now we downsize. We only have like about 8 to 9 employees. We had 20 some back in 2017, 18, 19. At that time, is a lot of people are like, how do you know how to manage and send them everybody to certain jobs? I'm like, because I know, like, I go and see what they're good at, and I keep them in the line.
Excellent.
Yeah, because that's the only way. Otherwise, you won't. I mean, you get lost too. So it's just a lot to it. Not just knowing how to do something means you can just go, but you have to learn along the way. And there's a lot of things that you do. I mean, obviously, they cost me a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that I had to go through. Uh, so many things that even IRS, LNI, insurance.
Insurance.
Oh yeah,
man.
they're the biggest scams ever.
Yes, they are. They always come to collect, man.
Yeah,
It
I
is a
know.
mess.
So going back to a little bit about the reason why I got hurt. They say that I wasn't going to do anything.
Mhm.
That I was done. Um, I One day I met this client. That's what I was gonna get to. This client who is he's a physical therapist.
Mhm.
For He actually used to work for some people. He used to be part of the team that helped recover the Seahawks.
Mhm.
He worked for them, and he started his own clinic here in North Denver. So I did some work for him, and he explained to him everything, right? Well, what's going on, and he's like, and he looked at my legs and everything. He's like, okay, Jose. He's like, I'm gonna make you do this exercise, an extension, leg extensions, right? Just leg extensions.
Yeah.
And I said, why? He's like, because this muscle here is all gone, and you have to rebuild the strength on that muscle. Because that's gonna support your kneecap and everything. You'll be fine. Just believe me. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Man, I started doing the game changer.
Yeah. It'll change everything.
And he started telling me little things here and there, stretches and all that stuff. And I was like, then less than 6 months, I was back in the game. Now trying to get back on stage.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. I don't think there's anything that you can't come back through when it comes to sports injuries.
Mhm.
I've had, we can look at a bunch of different bodybuilders who've torn both their quads. There's soldiers who go overseas and get blown up by IEDs, literally by bombs,
Wow.
and they're able to still work out with me every Thursday.
Wow.
And there's so many different ways to heal. I don't like the naysayers who don't believe in you.
Yeah.
They'll try to put limits or put you in a box and say, "Oh, this is your box. You have to stay here." No.
That's crazy.
It is a mess.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
I'm glad you're healed up, man.
Yeah, man, it was amazing. I actually I remember the first day that I went back to the gym. I actually went and signed up. What was this gym? It's never. What was that one? Emerald City
Emerald City Athletics. Yep.
Athletics. I saw you.
Yeah, man. I see you there.
Well, this is what happens though. When I first went back, I remember I don't know if he was the manager. Somebody was there. He was helping me sign up again because I used to be a member before, but then I stopped for a long time. And he was asking me what was my goals, right? And I'm like, well, I want to do a show, bodybuilding show. And he looked at me. He kind of smirked, right? Like,
Oh.
And then he's like, "Have you ever been to a show?" I'm like, "No, but I seen the guys, I seen how they look." He's like, "Well, you should. You should go and see what how they look like and what's their like. You have to have an incredible physique." And I'm like, "Well, I understand that. That's the reason why I'm coming."
That's part of the plan. Oh man.
Man, believe me, I was like, I don't know what to tell him, but I was like, okay. And he's like, well, I understand that you want to do that, but I mean, as long as you can just like do some cardio, so it's just more for health. He's telling me that I was not gonna be able to do that. He's like, well, just so you can be in shape and just be a little more healthy and stuff like that. I'm like, because I was overweight, but I wasn't that bad. So I was like, you know what? Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll just do whatever I can do, and that's it, right? So I don't keep arguing with him because he was just like really telling me that there's no way that I can do bodybuilding.
It's because he doesn't see it for himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that vision.
Yeah.
When you have vision, you can accomplish most things on this earth.
And I remember going there 2 times a day, and just keep working out. In 6 months, I dropped all my weight.
Oh yeah.
And back in the thing is that muscle has memory, right? So a lot of people couldn't believe it that I already boom. I'm like, and they saw me like, what the heck? How do you lose all that weight? I'm like, I just been working out and doing all the things, right? That's when I actually started got this coach. They started doing bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I decided to give it a try. I met my friend Juto, and he's like, hey, and I decided to do the bodybuilding process. Uh, the funny thing is that when I actually did accomplish my goal where I wanted to step on the stage and all of that stuff, and I did all of that, the same guy that told me that I wasn't going to be able to do, or like he was kind of like didn't believe what I want to do. The same guy who asked me he's like, hey, you had an amazing transformation. He's like, why don't you bring the photo from before and after so we can put it here in the wall? I'm like,
now you're a
no.
fan. No. You don't get second chances in someone's life when they're goal oriented or working towards their whatever they dream of.
Yeah.
After you disrespect, because that's disrespect.
Exactly.
It's rude and disrespectful. I would never walk up to somebody who's horribly morbidly obese and say, "Hey, you're never gonna look better." That's just me being an a-hole.
Yeah,
being horrible.
Yeah.
And that's unacceptable.
Yeah, definitely. And so I was like, you know what? I said, I'm not gonna do it. I said, first of all, it's like it was all my effort. You guys didn't even offer me anything, and so I'll just keep it to myself. And he's like, oh, all right, we'll respect that.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
Yeah, and then I was like, what? But yeah, it's just been a big, long journey for just anything in general. My life, family, everything that I'm doing now. My next goal is to become a professional singer. So
yes. So what inspired you to do that? Because I see you as somebody who can look at a car, like we just look at the car. I want that car or that truck. You look at a different goal and say, I want to look like this. I want to achieve the best version of myself physically. Now you want to sing and spread joy and happiness to the entire world.
Exactly.
So what inspired that, man?
This is something that goes way back, right? So my this is something that we always wanted to do. Me and my brother. My grandparent, my grandpa, he's a songwriter. He wrote a lot of songs, and he got an award. He took I think 2 or 3 songs to. They were doing a show, and they were gonna do this contest of see who has the best song, and writers and all that stuff. And then he got second place on the whole in Mexico.
Oh man,
the whole.
So he's got it down.
He got good. He has good songs.
I was wondering if he could loan me a couple because I have some people who need help. There's a lot of singers out there that don't have it. They do not have it. I listen to some of these lyrics and the songs. I'm like,
oh, I know.
Who is in charge? Who is running the show here?
Yeah, no, definitely. But this is something that I've always wanted to do because I remember growing up, my dad and them, they used to sing all their music, but they just used to sing it like without the music, just the lyrics.
Yes.
And I was like, who sings this song? I mean, who? I never heard anybody, but obviously, why? Because they never recorded. It was just themselves. My dad also, he writes songs and all of that. And so, uh, when the pandemic started, that's when when 2021, that's 2021, is when I started doing TikToks.
Mm-hmm. Just out of nowhere, just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. See what
So,
happens.
so my goal is, and nobody knows this though, and you'll be the first person to know.
Okay.
So, my idea was, I'm like, I need to be able to, because I talked to a guy. I said, you need to grow your social media
Mm-hmm.
to even get a chance. And I'm like, huh. And the best way of doing it would be at that time TikTok was booming, and I was like, you know what, this is my opportunity to shine.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Then I started doing TikToks, right? And I remember doing one video, and when I did that video, I got like 20,000 followers that day, and it was just lip singing to a song that was already existing. So it's just it's just a small 15-second video.
Because you got the look.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
You got the look.
Yeah,
It's got to be the beard. It
yeah.
is what it is. I've been trying for years to grow one. I keep flexing, and nothing's showing up here. I just got a little stubble. I cut myself shaving. I tried to pull off all the layers, and I was so mad. I look in the mirror, like, and nothing showed up, man. It is what it is. Baby face for life.
That's awesome though, because it keeps you young looking.
Yeah, man.
But so I and believe me, I never used to wear boots or a hat, cowboy hat. I just did it for the video, right? When that happened, I was crazy, and I'm like, huh. Then I'm gonna continue doing this, and so I started doing it and doing it and doing it. I don't have that many followers, but I have about 250,000 followers on TikTok. The biggest thing is now Facebook, 140,000 roughly, and now I have a lot more chances to be able to be exposed. Everything that I post, get exposure a lot of places. I mean, I get my profile gets about 5 to 10 million views a month. So I have a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
Even though people don't like much of my content, but I know that they see in it. So as long as they see it, I don't care.
Eventually, the right person is gonna see it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. And then you're gonna get your break.
Exactly. And so everything has something behind. Everything that I do has something behind it. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna get to the point where I'm going to get all these files and everything, and then I'll start doing the music, and this is the time. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna wait now. I'm just gonna start doing what I want to do, and that's what we're working on now. Right now we have 12 songs that we professionally already record. I have a guy that helps me record. Most of my music is in Houston, and I'm going back again on the 16th to the 28th. I'm gonna do some video clips and more music.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I knew that when you spoke earlier about having vision and seeing a goal, that you'd find a way. And getting the right person to hear your content is as simple as record it and put it out. You know, there's no magic. There's no magic algorithm that's going to save the day. You have to put in the work, and you're definitely putting in the work. I say every day you're getting all this exposure.
Yeah.
You have a good following.
Yeah.
And you have the look.
Yeah.
You have the sound, right?
Yeah.
And now the only thing left is for somebody the right ear to show up.
Exactly. And then the idea is that now it's like, I remember one guy come up to me and say, "Hey, bro, you should be start making music that people likes." And I said, "Okay, what do people likes?" If you tell me what people likes, then I may think about that.
Everybody likes different things.
Exactly.
Everybody, you just because I don't like cauliflower.
Exactly.
I think it tastes horrible. I think I hate cauliflower. Anything but cauliflower. Listen, I like my greens green. You know what? I'll get down some tomatoes, but cauliflower is no. Brussels sprouts was a punishment for me as a child. I'm not eating it as an adult. Absolutely not. There's not a chance. That doesn't mean that you might not.
Exactly.
Someone else. Everybody likes different things, man.
That's how it is, and this is what I told him. I said, okay, here I told him, hear me out. Do what you love to do. When you do what you love to do, you can pass it on to people, and they can feel it.
Yeah.
Because if when you don't do what you love to do, then if you don't even like it, you think people's gonna like it? It's the same thing as remodeling a kitchen. If I don't like how it looks, I don't think my client's gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to actually love what you do to be able to like to show it to trans like to be able to have people to actually like it. You have to love it yourself, and that's it.
Yes.
And I told him, I said, you know what? I do what I love to do. You people may not like it, but there's a millions of people in the world that will like that. So it doesn't matter. I say,
Mm-hmm.
at the time will come, and then I know what I'm doing, and I know that I already have few people that interested of doing some shows and some stuff. So I know that things are gonna get better and better every day. So
Yes, and I'm excited for you in the near future.
yeah,
Hopefully, I get to come and see you. I have to
yeah,
go purchase tickets and go to the Climate Pledge Arena down there in Seattle and listen to you. One thing that I can say about you is that you're driven. You're
Mm.
driven, and if I know anything about life is we as fathers, and
Mhm.
me a future father, we try to tell the youth, listen, you can do anything you put your mind to. Never give up. Don't listen to the people who
No,
talk bad about you or doubt you or whatever, right?
mhm.
Eventually, you have to tell yourself that as the parent too, because the kids are watching.
Oh yeah, what you
And I
doing?
used to ask my mom,
Yeah.
she told me that stuff. Well, why aren't you what you want to do? And she said, well, life isn't easy. And
Exactly.
you know what? That's what I thought growing
Exactly.
up. Life isn't easy. Why try?
Yeah.
Why be an astronaut? I wanted to be
Yeah.
an astronaut when I was a kid.
Wow.
I don't want to be anymore because I already went to the military. I don't want to be an astronaut. But I will tell you this: it is so important to have that belief in yourself,
Yeah.
because confidence, empowerment, positive affirmations, however people want to spin it,
Yeah.
it makes us great.
Yes, it does, and it does, and that's one of the things that I always said. I said, I do whatever I do is because I love doing it. I don't do it for no one, for the people, for whoever. I do it for myself. I do.
Absolutely, brother. Well, one thing that I wanted to touch on that I don't usually ask people, and I think that we can be pretty honest with each other. What does positive, focused, attentive parenting styles have as an effect on the children, right? So if you lost your parents at the when you first came to the
Mhm.
country, right? You for a time period, and
Mhm.
you spent those 3 years working on your craft.
Yeah.
That is extraordinary. I've never heard of something like that ever in my life.
Mhm.
What do you try to do to instill the same values you learned without your parents to your children? What's one thing you want to pass on to the future?
Well, definitely. I try to explain to them and kind of share my stories to them so they have a little understanding how I am the way I am with them. Is because obviously a lot of people will think that I'm really restrictive and strong about like the things that I tell them to do and what to do, especially and real life situations. Like I trying to teach my kids to obviously one of the biggest things is to be respectful, to do all of these things, right? But also they need to be they need to help out a lot. They need to do a lot of things about themselves because you don't know what's going to happen next. Sometimes you can. I mean, I'm planning to be around for them for the rest of my life. My life, because obviously they're younger than me. but um, but I told them, I said, you should be always prepared to do things. You have to be independent. You have to do all of these things. You cannot just be just trusting to just anybody. And I told them to focus on what they want to do in life and just go with it.
Mm.
For me, it's like I didn't have that because I even like my dad, he never went to school to see any of my activities or anything like that I had to do at school. Or he was never part of that. He was more like work, and you have to go help, and you have to work, and you have to do this. You have to. Let's say it was never fun. Never like anything
Mm.
that I tried to do with my kids. A lot of those things like we have fun. I take them to places. Um, I don't, and they can actually easily say that I don't give my kids everything that they want, even though I could have given them. But I guess I told them that it's not how life is. You know, I remember one friend of mine said his son they don't even have they barely make it. They don't have a lot of money, their income and stuff like that, and their kids have $300 shoes. They have all this expensive stuff, right? And I remember my son was telling me, he's like, Dad, how come, this so and so have all this and you never wanted to spend? He's like, we don't have. I'm saying, you know what? I said, because I'm not gonna just give you something just to hand it to you. If you want those, I can provide your needs. Whatever is needed. Which is clothes, shoes. They're not brand shoes. Whenever you're ready to want to do stuff, you have to work for them. You have to help out around the house. You have to do certain things to be able to earn that. Because if I give you that to you, you will never learn how to the value of getting that stuff, and you're gonna grow up like that, thinking that it's just be handed to you, and that's not it.
Yes, money and $300 shoes do not grow on trees. They don't just show up.
Yeah.
And I like that lesson that you give your children what they need, and and you show them that they have to work for what they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always, because they're like, oh, we it's your responsibility to support. Because I told my son, I said, when you're a little bit older of age, I said, you're gonna have to do your chores or whatever you have to do to be able to keep even your phone line on. Because I'm not gonna be providing for that. I said, you keep your phone because that was a gift. I remember he told me one day, because I took his phone away, right? He's like, you can take things that you give. Those are gifts. I said, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're totally right. Here you back your phone, but you don't have service.
Yes.
Because it is true, it was a gift. Yeah, but I'm not supposed to be paying your line. I said, now if you do help, I'll pay your line back on. Do all the things around the house supposed to be done. And they see it right now. I'm a really hard parent, but they will thank me when they're older.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they'll appreciate that.
100%. Discipline. When you are disciplined as a child in positive ways, and sometimes when you're bad in negative ways, you are able to develop self-discipline, and self-discipline is self-love. And fitness is self-love. Working on your craft, believing in yourself, all these are practices of self-love, and you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else in the world.
Definitely, that's true. And so, that's just the way it's been. And I obviously I don't treat them the way I was treated, because it was I'll be in jail right now.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
I've been in prison for years.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the same thing. I think that we can learn a lot from our previous generation, but for the youth to thrive and not just survive, but to thrive, just like you have in your story. I think powerful lessons need to be taught, and powerful lessons come with strict, strong borders. I don't think that any bowl of water, if it has leaks in it, it's going to drain and be empty.
Yeah, that's
absolutely
true,
man.
And this is what I told my kids. I said, well, I don't tell them a lot. Like, I don't be telling them, oh, you can do whatever you want or do this. I'm showing them what I'm doing. I said, I'm not gonna sit down and tell you what to do. I'm just gonna show you what you can do when you actually do put your goals and set your mind on what you want to do. I said a lot of things, like, I know that my kids are proud of me. I know, even though they hate me at times. When I talk to people, they barely know me. They always tell me, oh, your son always talks about you, oh, how you do business, you do this, you're doing that, you're doing all this. They always talking about you. And that's one of the things that you know that you're doing a good job. Even though they in the house they don't like you, but they talk about you. So that means they're proud of you. They like to share your stories with some other people because they're proud of how far you've become and what you're teaching them. And so that's one of the things that I always I just Thomas says, actions are more powerful than words.
Yes.
You can just be telling somebody what to do, how to do it every day, but if you don't show them, actually, if you're not doing it yourself, it's like you said, you asking your mom, you do this, and you tell her why she's not doing that, because you see that. You see that she's not doing what she's telling you to do. She's, so you're like, how come you're not? You know what I mean? So you focus more on what you see than what people, because words are just words. Actions are actually what makes you more excited about doing things different. Because I know for me, it's always been like that. if I see somebody that's doing something, I'm like, I can do that too. We all capable of doing the same thing. We are. I mean, there's no doubt that you can do whatever you want to do. It's just how bad you want it.
Mm-hmm. And then applying yourself.
Yeah,
It
doing
really is that simple. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
So for all of your followers, all of your fans, all the people who support you on a daily basis, I know that my Spanish is absolutely horrible, and I don't want to rob you of a moment to speak to them in your language that you're comfortable with.
Right.
Do you want to take a second and talk and show them that you're appreciative and all the things?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to quiero decirles a toda la gente que me ha estado apoyando hasta el día de hoy, y que probablemente están escuchando el broadcast de aquí de mi camarada Eddie, que les agradezco bastante todo el apoyo, espero y que todo el tiempo me sigan apoyando, aquí estamos haciendo cosas diferentes, cosas nuevas. Las personas que escucharon el broadcast que tuvimos ahorita, pueden ver que todo esto ha sido parte de algo diferente, algo nuevo, y espero que en el futuro sea mucho mejor. Así es que les agradezco a todas las personas que han estado aquí escuchando. And thanks to everybody that was listening to us today.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for tapping into another episode of Optimism Podcast. I, as always, am humbled and appreciative of everybody who comes on. This one more so than most, because the lessons that he shared, it's not easy to ever hear another human being has experienced having to hit the ground running, from age 15, learning how to work, developing more masterful skills at whatever craft that you're in at that moment, and leveling up, starting your own business, getting told you can't do something in life, kicking down doors when you have the doubters show up, loving yourself and setting healthy boundaries. Like, I respect myself more than I'm going to let you treat me this way or not believe in me. Achieving college degrees with barely being able to speak English at the time in America. All these things are just small, minute portions of the man sitting next to me. And I'm so appreciative of your time, Jose. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and hopefully to see you soon again.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And thank you to all my listeners. This has been another episode. As always, please head over to our Facebook page. Let's talk. If you have a story you'd like to share, or if you think that Jose is just the most awesome person in the world, please do let us know. Reach out and make sure to go to the link in the description, and you're going to check out all the content. I will be posting all of his socials in it as well, so you can go and follow him, be a part of this journey as he takes over a record company. I'm so excited for the future, and I hope you are as well. Thank you for tapping in. This has been it. Enough waffling. Goodbye.